All right, thank God it's Friday. It's the Friday edition of the Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. I am your host, Jerry Alpeliohai, reporting for football duties. And today we have an action-packed show as we take a look at matters arising as far as football is concerned. And of course, joining me once again today is the controversial one, the prophet of, of doom. Would I say doom? A prophet has not realized any prophecy yet. Anyway, but time they will tell. Some he has actually actualized, but most of the big ones that concerns us now are falling like a pack of cards. And my wife also joins us virtually today, and they would like to rub it in and tell me to congratulate them. Of course, no congratulations for a Wuru team. It's great to have you join us once again on Locker Room.
Well, good evening, Jerry. Good evening to our viewers. And yes, thank God it's Friday. United made it to the Europa League, and of course, see us in the Npfl Champions League next season because we're going to win that trophy.
And you, anyway.
And thank you very much for not congratulating me because I see that as a congratulation.
Anyway, even someone who has the ears of FIFA, talking about as a Wenger, said that any of the club sides that win the Europa League should not make the Champions League next season. And I think FIFA is considering that option. And
you want them to consider that option?
They should consider the option.
And it will start next season.
No, it will start now.
It will start next season.
It will be effective
before
next season. Don't worry.
Can't.
The thing is that it's not good that
a body has to
a
sit.
team that does not qualify to be in the Champions League will now use that secondary school competition to now make the Champions League. It makes a mockery of what the Champions League is all about because it's no longer on merit. Because how would you finish 14 on the table and you win the Europa League through the back channel and you want to make the Champions League? It's unfair to teams who have wanted joke is playing. Even Tottenham was a joke this season in the Premier League, and they are going to play in the Champions League just because they won or they won the Europa League. It's unfair. It's unfair to other teams.
So we are saying a team outside the top four should not be allowed to.
Yes. No matter whether you win the Europa League or not.
So what if you win the Champions League outside the top four?
Win the Champions League outside the top four. You can't play the Champions League next season.
So if you win,
yes.
If you win the Champions League, but you're outside the top four, you're not supposed to play the Champions League.
Yes, you're not supposed to play the Champions League next season. It used to be like that. Defending champions come and play the Champions League, whether you finish top four or not. But it's no longer like that. You have to
no.
It's still like that.
Yes, still very much like that.
It's unfair. I think there's also changed
because you benefited from that, you know.
There's also changed that rule.
One winner.
I think one time. I think after that time, they made some effort to change the rule.
That particular rule still stands.
That the defending champions must play Champions League.
Definitely has to come defend it. You have to come defend it.
I'll look into it. I'll look into it.
Yes, you have to come defend it.
I know that season Liverpool finished in the 5th position and won the Champions League.
Yes, you defended.
And they went in because they were defending champions.
Yes, Chelsea in 2012.
And that season they said that from that season they said it should
Chelsea in 2012 finished 6th and they came back in 2013 to defend their title.
All right. Definitely something needs to be done about that as well as
you've enjoyed it. Let us enjoy it.
No, I didn't. That's not Europa League.
It doesn't change anything.
Champions League.
It doesn't change anything.
It changes a lot.
No, it's a rule. It's a rule. No.
Europa League is for teams who failed to make.
If you finish outside top four,
Europa League is those who did not fought it.
If you finish
to the big stage, so they gave them something to compete.
See, if you finish outside the top four,
but you know, Europa League is just to assist.
If you finish outside the top four, you are not supposed to come back to defend Champions League now.
Anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
That's not the conversation.
You've enjoyed it.
That's not the
Let us enjoy it.
You are deflecting. You are deflecting. My wife gets to join us on the show this afternoon, and we'll be. Maya, you heard your friend anyway. The octopus that's not octopusing, as far as.
I said you had to make it to the final. How am I not octopus?
Now that one has been settled now. You've discussed with the referees.
I said Inter is going to make it to the final.
The UEFA referees have helped you.
I said Newcastle will win the Carabao.
Maya, come and hold this your prophet too. If the one you are.
Maya, you are here now. Please, at least help me.
He has come again. Come and hold him before he will say something else.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. Like Ikechukwu will say, just celebrate grace.
Grace, my brother, celebrate grace. Make grace rob you.
We are in Europe, Liverpool. So I mean, you should celebrate us for at least getting to the finals of the Europa League. Whether we are 18th, we are 20th, we are 14th. The bottom line is this: we are already in the final of the Europa League. So, I mean, you celebrate us. I'm still waiting for that congratulation. I hope you will be able to congratulate us after we win the Europa League on the 21st. But in any case, a whole lot of football to talk about. TGIF. Thank you for having me, Jay.
Maiwa, I am so I will disappoint you because I put it to you that nothing will make me celebrate a fraud. so that Europa League you are going to find out to play.
You might not say it here.
It's a fraudulent.
But he's going to buy me a bowl of fish and a cold bottle of beer.
I made the fish and the bowls hook you. I don't know the kind of fish you're asking for. Maybe I'll pack the bowls and give it to you so you'll be happy. And that beer will be hot. I will go and boil it. I'll give it to you. Anyway, let's take a look at the home front where the head coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, Chelle, has made some adjustments for the final list of players who will represent the team in the upcoming Unity Cup friendly tournament in England. Chelle has already submitted the provisional list to the Nigerian Football Federation, and players who made the list have been contacted on their availability for the tournament, where they will open their campaign against Ghana on the 28th of May. A win in that game will see them take on the winner of the other game of the tournament between Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. Nigeria will then travel to take on Russia in June. Most of the stars of the team are expected to skip this tournament and play in the game against Russia, a situation that has forced Chelle into making changes to his preferred final squad by adding more players from the Nigerian Premier Football League. And the coach initially had just 3 of them, but the number could swell to 7 or even more with more of the established players not available for the tournament. And I think Ikechukwu will be excited with this news. He was saying that why not use the Npfl players? It seems like Chelle has listened to you, or he has considered the options. Because if they play the first 2 games, they might not be available for the game against Russia. So you might be handicapped. Just add more Npfl players. They will always be available because they have nowhere to go. This is the Super Eagles for crying out loud.
Of course. You know, Jerry, the conversation started with this is supposed to be your second team, or some people call them the team B. Right? Now, you have a game that is not very important, right? It is not even in the FIFA calendar. So why use this game to actually why not use this game to actually test these guys to see if they are good enough to be part of the Super Eagles? Why risking your best legs in this particular friendly, which of course if any of them gets injured, you'll be handicapped at the end of the day. You have players who really want to fight for jersey. You have players who really want to test themselves. I mean, the Chan tournament is still is closer than the AFCON in December. So why not give them the chance to also blood into the Super Eagles? And then, I mean, this Chan tournament, the NHL will be a very, very active participant in this particular team, even if he's not going to be sitting there as the chief coach of the team at the end of the day. But of course, he's going to be working with the Ogunmodede and of course Fidelis Ilechukwu in that particular tournament. So he really needs to know these guys, and of course, really use this opportunity to test his statistics. I think this is a very good development. Going in this particular game, let's see how much they can actually give. Let's get to even see our Npfl players in a big stage. Let's get to even know them. This is exactly where it starts. We might, at the end of the day, get to see 1 or 2 players who say, okay, this one is actually good to be part of the Super Eagles. And then, of course, going into the tournament proper, talking about double header in September, which going to involve South Africa and Rwanda. Who knows? One or two of them might just even cut it at the end of the day. We are talking about having a very serious deficiency in our backline. Perhaps we might just discover somebody who is actually good enough to be there. So I really like the fact that he's really looking this way to give them the opportunity to be part of the team.
All right, don't forget our viewers, it's a conversational program. You can also drop your comments on the comment section via YouTube. And of course, we're also on Facebook, we're also on TikTok. And of course, we're everywhere. You can also call in via the WhatsApp number beaming under the screen. And of course, we'll be taking your calls and your comments via WhatsApp as well. All right, Maiwa, taking a look at the Unity Cup and the game against Russia is an opportunity for Chelle to discover new players. I hope he will not mix it up, because in terms of trying to please the NFF, we heard that Ahmed Musa has been included to captain and that team. So I hope you will not mix the point of this friendly.
Well, the thing is, I think this is a good news. Remember when we spoke about this, I think last week or earlier this week, I can't remember, when we talked about this particular topic. One of the things that was said was this: there was no point bringing in those we know. These are not very for us to be able to build players. And I remember that I said clearly that this should be an opportunity for our Nigerian players, the players that play in the league, to be able to have a feel of how the national team looks like. Sometimes the solution that you are looking for abroad might even be, say, what you are looking for in Sokoto might be under your Sokoto. So I think this is a good avenue for them to be able to, for a chance to be able to see our local guys, the guys that play in the Nigerian league, for him to be able to see them play. And I believe that there is no way we have over 400 persons plying their trade in the Nigerian league that will not be able to have, 3-4 of them that will be good enough to be part of, of the Super Eagles. However, I think this decision is forced on him based on the fact that majority of the players is that majority of them might not be available. Remember, the season might just be ending in Europe, and some of them might need to take time. Some of them that might be involved in some other later competitions in their club might not be available for that particular. I think that's the reason why his hands is being forced. However, it's a good one that we are seeing, bulk of the players come from our local league. It will also serve as a motivation for those that were not picked, that if you can do better, you have a shot at, you have a shot at fighting for a shirt in the national team. For the case of Ahmed Musa, we are consistently hammer on this. Yes, Ahmed Musa is a Nigerian. A lot of people might be listening to this and say, why are you complaining that Ahmed Musa is still part of the team? Why are we complaining about the name Ahmed Musa? There's Cristiano Ronaldo who is over 40 and is still playing for, the Portuguese national side. However, Ahmed Musa has not been part of the team a very long while. I think there are players, yes, he can be part of the team, maybe as an eye because of the experience he brings. I don't think he should play any active part in that particular tournament. We have seen him before. Let us look at those that we have not seen before, come from the local league and see what they can do. To be honest, I think this is a good news for the Nigerian league players. We'll get them and we are able to see one or two of them that should be able to make it, that should be able to be part of the players that are coming in the year.
All right, so it's now left to be seen whether they will be utilized, because it's one thing to invite a lot of Npfl players. It's one thing for us to be able to see what they are able to do. And I hope players like Papa Daniel will make the cut eventually when we see the list anytime soon next week. Okay, but if you look at it, the purpose of this friendly is to at least have some bit of options. And I hope the issue that has to do with the defense, when, for instance, a Trustekong is tired, we should have somebody from the bench being able to play as good as William Trustekong. It should not be Kevin Bassey alone. When Shami Ajayi is not available, we should have options. The midfield, there's an issue. Talking about a playmaker. A lot of playmakers who we know, as far as Nigerians are concerned, he should be able to test them. And of course, we need to know the technical capability of Eric Chelle as well, because we saw against Zimbabwe that he had issues with being able to kill off that game. Had it been he was able to kill off that game, we will not be asking questions about his technical capabilities. We saw Mali fine, but what we are seeing with the Super Eagles, there's still a lot of questions about Eric Chelle.
Yes, I'll start from that Zimbabwe game. You see that Zimbabwe game, I don't think the issue is actually his tactical ability, right? Of course, the manager who he was up against was far more experienced and far more exposed than he is. But I think the problem really was the fact that he's yet to really understand how to actually manage game. Of course, game management, even the most experienced managers, sometimes they lack the ability to actually manage game in those very crucial moments. We've seen managers who you believe they could have killed off a game. Look at Barcelona against Inter Milan. They should have won that game 3-2. It could have ended right there at the San Siro, right? But then what happened? Just that minute where it's expected for Hansi Flick to actually just manage that game and then seal up that game. But of course they kept attacking, and the rest they say is history. They're out of the UEFA Champions League. But now, looking at this particular thing that Eric Chelle is trying to do, yes, she talked about the very crucial part. That is one of the biggest problem we have today, the centre back option. Simi Ajayi is out. William Ekong is aged. He's got injuries, been playing with injury, and of course he's very slow, even if he's fit. We heard the story of we heard from Eric Chelle's assistant who was talking about how they managed Truss Ekong in that AFCON where he actually emerged as the best player at the end of the day, because they know that he doesn't have the leg again. They actually had to play 3 centre backs to help him, get the best out of him. Now we are looking at this position. Okay, going into this particular championship now, some of this we need actually to discover, top quality talent in that particular area. Again, another problem we have since JJ left. Of course, Mikel really didn't give us his best as a creative player in the Super Eagles. Since JJ left, we've not had a proper number 10 that is highly creative, that anytime he is on the ball, there's this confidence of him creating, good enough chance, and of course help the Super Eagles, move or decide how a game is going to be. We've not had it, right? We're not saying we should have someone who dribbles like JJ, but we need someone who can actually command and dictate play. We've not had it. Perhaps that person, like Mama said, could be in the Nigerian league. But of course, we will not give them the opportunity to actually play. We might never get to discover them. Again, in the attack, I think that's where we seem a little bit comfortable or confident, because, we have 2 players who are, African Footballer of the Year, who have won the award before, the African Footballer of the Year award. So it tells you that we're actually poised for options there. But then, how do we actually manage these guys? The only thing, this is why I'm looking at what Eric Chelle is doing at this point, because trust me, right, if he gets it right, if we can actually get 1 or 2 good talent from this particular pool, going into this championship, it's going to be a win for us, because I don't know how we're going to look at it. Many of these guys we are trying to poke, from all parts of the world, may not even come at the end of the day, because this is not an important championship. So the best we have, or the best we can actually deal with at this point, is actually, the guys in our home front.
All right, they say time will tell. We hope that he will take full advantage of this friendlies, and of course come out with a good result in terms of players he will have as options as far as the rest of the World Cup qualifiers is concerned, because every coach wants to build a team that they can trust, and we hope that he will build something that he will be proud of, and when eventually we play against Rwanda and South Africa, when the World Cup qualifiers come calling. All right, to other news now. We're fresh from helping English League One side, the Wrexham, gain promotion to the English Championship with 19 clean sheets. Otto Okonkwo isn't in a hurry to commit his international future to Nigeria. Trained at Arsenal, the 23-year-old who came of age this season in League One has represented England at youth levels, but he's still eligible for Nigeria at senior level, with his father a descent of the West African country. Head coach of the Nigerian team, Eric Chelle, is a huge fan of the giant shortstopper and wouldn't mind handing him a spot in his team to challenge the options he has in the team at the moment, particularly as he will be playing in the English Championship. And that desire is said to be too early, according to sources in the camp of the former Arsenal first team reserve goalkeeper, although they didn't rule out a move in the future when he would have been established as a starter in the English second tier. And the option of pledging to Nigeria will be there as long as he isn't in the English senior setup, and he will rather take his time to study the terrain properly before a decision on playing for Nigeria, especially as he has age on his side. He's still very young goalkeeper. He's 23 years of age, Maiwa. Goalkeepers at 23 are still pretty young, definitely, because goalkeepers even last longer to even up to 40. Depends on how good they are.
It's very simple. We need to quit chasing after these guys. He's 23 now. He's not thinking about Nigeria. But by the time he's 29 or close to 30, when England are disappointed him, that's when we try to switch to Nigeria. I think it's insulting from his comments. He's not ready to pledge the future to Nigeria. He would rather wait on England for England to call him, whereas Nigeria is telling him, come, we'll give you a space in the national team and be able to compete for a shirt. I go back to what we were discussing earlier again. The Vincent Eyama, who served Nigeria for over 12 years, and he did so well, managed post for Nigeria, was discovered from a member in Nigeria here, and he did fantastically well at that one in that World Cup game against England. I remember that shot he saved it from Paul Scholes, and that also brought him to limelight, and was able to serve us for a very long time. Why are we not looking for goalkeepers in our league here? Why? What is the reason why we are waiting on an Otto who is not even thinking of Nigeria at the age of 23? I've said it countless times, and it's sounding like a broken record. We should not build our national team on people who will not consider Nigeria first. To be honest with you, the statement from Okonkwo, if I were to be NFL president or whoever it is that is scouting player, I think I will blacklist him. And I'm just being, I'm just being honest. Yes, we have our peculiar issues. The way football is being run, any same person will not want to play for Nigeria. That is understandable. However, some of the comments he has made is an indication that he's not even thinking about Nigeria. If he has the option to play for Nigeria now, I would rather wait for a plan. Then there is no point bringing him to the Super Eagles. There's no point inviting. There's no point looking at him. We have enough talent in Nigeria here, rotting away in our league here, that will probably be good enough, to fight Unwabali for the number one spot in the Super Eagles. Not somebody that is not considering Nigeria when he's still very agile and he's still very young.
Okay, yeah, definitely. You have a case there, and as far as it's concerned, we'll now wait to see what's going to happen. Anyway, let's talk about the Flying Eagles, who is set to face Senegal in the quarterfinal of the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, and Senegal secured their spot after beating Democratic Republic of Congo 2-0 in their final Group C game. The match between Nigeria and Senegal will take place at the Suez Canal Stadium in Ismaila, Egypt. The winner of this match will earn a bet at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile, and notably Senegal had previously beaten Nigeria 1-0 in a group stage game 2 years ago in Egypt. The Flying Eagles finished second in their group with 4 points, while Ghana's Black Satellites topped the standings with 7 points. And of course, taking a look at Senegal, this is the game I want to see the Flying Eagles win. Then I can say maybe there's something to look forward to. But taking a look at the way Senegal even made it to the quarterfinals, it's a very, very big task for this Flying Eagles side.
True. Senegal over the years, they've actually they have a very good system that have been producing a couple of young players across the national team. If you look how the national team has been for a couple of years, you notice that every 2 or 1 year you get to see a very young. They
adopted the style that was working for Nigeria.
Yes,
before,
every young.
So
it's going to be a very difficult game. It's really going to be a difficult game. I just hope the Flying Eagles get the better of this particular tie and then advance in this particular tournament. It's going to be, this is, like you said, this is where they are really going to be tested. And I just hope they get the best result out of it. I mean, Senegal has always shown that they really understand what it takes to. I think they were 2019 champions of the AFCON. So it tells you that they really, really want to be part of football powerhouse in Africa. And it's going to be a big game. I mean, it's a game that will really define the trajectory of many of these boys going forward for talking about how they actually move from this state to the Super Eagles.
All right, Maiwa, this looks like a very huge bus stop for them to pass as far as the playing against Senegal is concerned. But anyway, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Well, the thing is I think our guys have not performed, poorly in the tournament. Definitely, Senegal is one of the contenders in that particular tournament. And if you look at how the Senegalese have been able to coordinate themselves, especially in the age group years, you know that they mean business. If you look at those making it to the national team of Senegal, and remember that Senegal is also in the rebuilding process, majority of those in their national team, I think the average age in Senegal national team, I think it's about 25 or 24 thereabout. That shows how young they are, and it shows how they've been able to build a talent pipeline that brings players from the eighth grade to the national team. Also, majority of the Senegalese players, some of them play for some clubs in France and for feeders team of some clubs in France, and that brings a whole lot of quality into that particular team. However, the way our team has set up so far, apart from the fact that there is a World Cup bet, riding on this particular match, I think we have the quality to be able to go toe-to-toe against the Senegalese. And with the performance we have put in so far, I think we should be able to edge the Senegalese. It might be a very difficult game, but I think we have the quality to be able to dispatch the Senegalese and pick up the World Cup ticket.
All right, something tells me that this might be their bus stop. But Let's wait and see. And because I saw the game against Kenya, I was not convinced. I said, this is a team that everybody is talking about. I beg to disagree. Is this the future of the Super Eagles? Anyway, we are going to be in trouble if that's the case.
Jerry, we saw how...
Yeah. They struggled against Kenya.
Virtually struggled.
The match ended up 2-2. Yeah, they struggled against Kenya. The match ended up 2-2. However, if you look at the game that they played before the Kenyan game, yes, the Kenyan game did not clothe them in glory, and I understand that. However, I think they have enough quality to be able to go toe-to-toe against the Senegalese. Yes, the Senegalese will pose a bigger threat than the Kenyans. I mean, if the Kenyans were much more clinical, Nigeria wouldn't have had a comeback in that particular game. However, I think with the quality we have, if they can, put their games together like they did against the North Africans, against Tunisia, I think they should be able to do something against the Senegalese and pick up the World Cup ticket.
All right, talking about quality, and every time they say quality, anyway.
Jerry.
But maybe the visit of Eric Chelle also made them jittery. I don't know, because they were trying to please him. That's trying to show off that they have arrived.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, because Eric Chelle was on at the pitch.
That's a very big possibility. But you see, sometimes champions are actually defined, through this process, right? It has to be very rough for you to actually see the best of them. Not all the time champions get it all smooth from the beginning to the end. I can go back to 2 tournaments. No, I can go back to 2 tournaments.
Okay, potential champions.
No, in 2013,
please be careful, because all this is your
in 2013 we qualified from our group by it wasn't smooth for us, right? In the Nations Cup.
Have mercy on the Flying Eagles. Don't
in
be calling them champions.
2005, the Flying Eagles that got to the final, that marveled, that wowed all of us.
Yes.
We didn't get it easy in our group. You remember we had to wait until the last day before we qualified against Japan, I think, right? So sometimes it's not supposed to be so smooth for us to expect that, these guys are actually good enough. After this game, we'll begin to look at them and say, okay, perhaps that particular game got, to them because of course, the concentration of the
anytime you're enthusiastic about the team, I'm always worried for that team. I'm worried because, anyway, Flying Eagles, just play your game, do your best, and leave the rest. Anyway, former Chelsea winger Florent Malouda believes Victor Osimhen would be an excellent signing for the Blues. Osimhen, currently on loan at Galatasaray, has scored 33 goals across all competitions this season, and Malouda thinks Osimhen can score 20 or more goals per season for Chelsea. Who does not like a good thing? They still don't like better thing. Definitely, every club side will surely want to have a gangling striker like Victor Osimhen on their side, challenging for titles.
Absolutely, and coming from a legend in Chelsea, it tells all the story you need to know. Florent Malouda is one of those guys who actually bled it for Chelsea, actually gave Chelsea the bragging rights they have today, right? Part of the generation actually made all of this happen, and of course, seeing him make a statement like this, it's actually not far-fetched. It's actually not surprising, knowing that there's actually little to actually separate in terms of aggressive nature and hunger that the likes of Victor Osimhen and Didier Drogba share in terms of how they actually approach the game. So most players in that generation will always want to fancy Osimhen because they see a semblance of Didier Drogba in him. Mikel has also come out to make a similar statement that Chelsea needs Victor Osimhen because of course they played around a player who has similar attributes, and of course I'm not surprised. Victor Osimhen is, of course, remember, he's also a Chelsea fan, so I think it's a very good one for him to go back to where he's.
There was also a that he's a Man United fan. Too.
No, I think after the Under 17 World Cup he was interviewed and he said he has always been a Chelsea fan. He wants to one day play for Chelsea. Yes, he wants to one day.
Yeah, and he should avoid the number 9 jersey if he has any plans of joining Chelsea, and he should make peace with Nicholas Jackson and his legs, and should not cross with him. Anyway. What time do they say we tell what do you think? Everybody wants the bride. He has so many suitors right now, and we understand why Malouda will want him to play for Chelsea.
Definitely, it's been showing how important he is. He's been showing class, of an out-and-out striker in Galatasaray, and I really applaud him for going there to show people that he's not finished, and we are seeing it. However, Chelsea is a will not be a good fit for him. And the reason for this is very simple. First of all, I don't think the contract situation in Chelsea will favor him. I don't want a situation whereby he will run into the problem he ran into in Napoli with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Remember, Chelsea, first of all, they will sign you on a very long, ridiculous contract, and sign you on a very long, ridiculous contract, and the pay might not be that impressive. That's number one. Number two, Chelsea for me at the moment, they don't have a direction. Yes, you can say they are in the top three and the rest of it. And the reason why they are there is because the teams around them, they are messing up. The teams around them were doing very well. Chelsea should not be, in the top five. Chelsea is still a rebuilding team, and I've said it consistently. Chelsea does not have an ambition. I think Osimhen should go to a club that has an ambition. And if you are looking at the club that has ambition, we have the likes of a Liverpool. We are looking at a Man City, even an Arsenal.
Manchester
For
United.
the past 2 years have shown that they have an ambition. Manchester United is a no-no. Manchester United, you should not go to Manchester United.
See, Mario,
Manchester United does not have a direction at the
I
moment.
have a chilled bottle of beer waiting for you somewhere. Don't worry. Whenever we meet up, just remind me. I don't deal with people who don't understand success. He has gotten so used to failure, so he's now relating Manchester United with successful clubs. So I don't know. So sorry. I understand your case, but I think you've not caught the bug of those Manchester United fans who are still living in the past. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay. Why are you short of words already? Well, it is what it is.
I mean, it's very obvious for everybody to see. I mean, you cannot look at Manchester United, and if Osimhen is your relative and you want Osimhen to come and play for Manchester United at the moment,
That means
maybe
you wish
2
him
seasons
evil.
down the line,
You wish him evil.
Amorim might be able to do something, but at the moment, Manchester United is not a good place for Osimhen to go. He will be frustrated, and I don't want something that happened to Højlund to happen to him. Højlund is not a bad player, but Manchester United is making him look like a bad player.
You don't stand and beating the coach. He knows how to talk to coaches anyhow. You see, Amorim will come out from the training ground with one eye. We don't want our boy to be blacklisted. Please, let him not go be frustrated. He will start beating everybody. Anyway, let's talk about the Europa League. Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur will face each other in the Europa League final after overcoming Athletic Bilbao and Bodo Glimt in the semi-finals. United came from behind to win 4-1 against Bilbao at Old Trafford, while Spurs defeated Bodo Glimt 2-0. The Red Devils will be looking to win this one. But the man, he has continued to speak true to power. Talking about Postecoglou, he said that every second season, he always wins things. And this is an opportunity to show that luck is definitely still on his side as far as winning things in the second season. He's in the final of the Europa League against Manchester United.
Yes, he's going to win the silver medal, so it's still a win for him. I mean, a lot of teams didn't get to the final. Getting to the final alone is a win. So yes,
and he has not lost to Manchester United any competition this season.
There's always the first time.
True.
There's always the first time, and it doesn't change anything. Sometimes
It changes a lot.
Oh,
It changes a lot. Yeah.
all right. So, but the truth is, this particular tie is as dead as dodo. United is going to win it, and I'm going to bring the gold.
United is going to win it.
United is going to win this particular tie.
All right.
We're going to have the conversation. Okay, let's take it here. United wins, you buy me a bowl of fish and a cold beer.
If Tottenham wins,
I buy you.
no, you wear Tottenham jersey. You become a Tottenham fan for one season, and you wear Tottenham jersey on the days I pick. You will buy it with your money, and you will wear the jersey on the days I pick to the studio. Are you good with that? I'll give you a bowl of fish and beer if you win. Oh, well, I'm good. Case closed.
Case closed.
It's a deal. It's a deal. And the day they are flogging Tottenham, you will collect. The day Man United is flogged, they've been flogged, you will collect too. Anyway.
Let me add one to it. I think why not let's do it in reverse. If Man United win, because Jerry has been criticizing Manchester United.
You wear United jersey.
There's no bet.
United jersy.
There's no bet in this world that will make me agree or wear my United jersey. No way. You can bet on that, but I know you're going to call that jersey. can't see me wearing it.
So you don't want to wear Man United jersey?
For
Brother,
what?
celebrate grace.
Grace.
Celebrate grace.
I know where Grace is, so I don't need to. I don't need. I don't need that kind of word. Keep it to yourself. Anyway, let's take the YouTube platform. We have messages already, and Climate Wonder says that good one from Eric Chelle. He also went on to say that more players should be tested. I think he's talking about the Unity Cup, and he says Npfl have the talent. And I think Ikechukwu will be excited with that one. And Taiwo Okunade says that Igo Ogbu, Chubike, Wainwu as well should form our defense. Where's now Trustekong? Okay, maybe for the Unity Cup. And Hamzat Ojediron. This is also from Taiwo Okunade. Says Hamzat Ojediron, Tino Ajorin, and Frank Onyeka should form our midfield. Is Tino Ajorin a creative midfielder? Because Frank Onyeka will understand he's good with the 4. Then Hamzat Ojediran, I don't really know much about him, but definitely they say the fans have it in terms of who they feel should persecute the cup. But Mario, I was going to ask you, Postecoglou says he wins things in the second season. Maybe this might be the title he gets to win eventually. And what about speaking truth to power? He kept on saying it. And somehow, it seems like he has found his way to the final.
Well, I think the thing is this: it would be a huge mistake if anybody writes off Ange, and that's just the honest truth. He has done 3/3 against Ruben Amorim. After the game yesterday, when they were interviewing Amorim, they brought up the fact that he's playing the Tottenham side. He has faced off with Tottenham 3 times, and none of them ended up, in victory for a defeat for him. So yes, you might say they are not playing in England; they are playing outside England. That might be a factor. They are playing the Bilbao Stadium where they have won before, and the rest of that. But however, I will not write off a Tottenham. I think when Ange said it, and with the performance that with the performance we are seeing in the EPL, I was one of those that felt Ange was just dreaming. However, he's in the final, and the final can go to anybody. Tottenham has a pedigree of beating Manchester United under Ange and facing off with Ruben Amorim. Manchester United, with the way they are playing, if Manchester United had played a more compact team yesterday, or if Atletico Bilbao had had all their players complete, yes, you might say that.
The Williams brothers were
I think that game might have ended up, that game might have ended up differently yesterday. We struggled until the 65-65th minute when those changes came in. That was when the game happened against the Tottenham and they score first. That might just be the end. So I will not write off what Ange has said. It's a possibility, it's a final, and it's anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. Thank you very much, Mario, for speaking plainly and truthfully. May your days be long. And of course, I still owe you a sealed bottle of beer. Anyway, Real Madrid has agreed to it. Let's go back to the other conversation. Anyway, Real Madrid has agreed to a deal with Bayern Leverkusen manager Xabi Alonso to become the team's new manager next season, replacing Carlo Ancelotti. Alonso is expected to sign a 3-year contract after the FIFA Club World Cup. Ancelotti, who has won 15 trophies with Real Madrid, including 3 Champions League titles, will leave his position after the final La Liga game of the season against Real Sociedad. Alonso, a former Real Madrid player, has had a successful coaching career, leading Leverkusen to several titles. He previously coached Real Sociedad's B team and worked in Real Madrid's academy. And Alonso's appointment is seen as a significant move for Real Madrid, aiming to continue their dominance in Spanish and European football. Do you think the Xabi Alonso have what it takes to coach this Madrid side to win more titles?
Truth be told, right? Only managers who have won the UEFA Champions League before can comfortably walk into the Real Madrid dressing room and you say, this man has what it takes. But any other manager who has not won it before, stepping into that place, is actually a different arena. So it's going to be a very, very difficult task for the person. Now, I also understand why Real Madrid decided to poke Xabi Alonso. Now, if you look at how Real Madrid has played over the last 2 seasons, I'm talking about season they won the UEFA Champions League and this season where they were knocked out. Look at how they played. You know that they won the games based off tactical ability of Don Carlo Ancelotti. They didn't win the games or they didn't win this championship because they were superior on the pitch in terms of how they play, how they dominate play. Real Madrid is known to dominate games. Under the legendary Vicente Del Bosque, the man who actually was the manager in the early 2000s, you see Real Madrid on the pitch, you can't dominate them. They play you and they win games. That's how Real Madrid want to be seen. Right. One of the reasons when Jose Mourinho, this is one of the reasons why Jose Mourinho didn't last long. Because after the second season where he scored over 100 goals, Real Madrid started going back into a kind of hit you on a fast counter. That's not the way Real Madrid play. Real Madrid want to actually show both. They want to actually tell you we have the best players in the world. We want to dominate. Even when they lose games, they want to lose games based off bad luck, not because you're better than them. Now look at how Xabi Alonso have been able to handle this Madrid side in the last 2 seasons. That's why they actually say, you know what, it's time up. Now look at how Xabi Alonso have been able to lead that is unknown Leverkusen side. I mean, these guys are actually virtually unknown, except for the likes of Granit Xhaka. Many of these guys have not gotten to that level where the world will look at them and say, okay, this guy is actually a top player. Now we saw how they actually won the golden sheet in the Bundesliga. I think even in Bayern Munich, all of their eras are dominating the Bundesliga. They've not done it the way Bayern Leverkusen did it last season. So it tells you the quality is bringing to the dressing room of Real Madrid. Now it's yet to be seen how he's going to actually coordinate these guys. But in terms of how they are going to play, of course it is defined. Looking at how Bayern Leverkusen actually played last season, and of course this season, even though they end up not winning the championship again. So yes, it's going to be a very big task for him because Real Madrid is a very demanding club. But how Real Madrid is going to be playing going forward, I'm certain they are definitely going to be dominating in many of their plays. But of course, I really cannot put my money in Xabi Alonso staying too long because trust me, if Real Madrid fails to actually win the UEFA Champions League in the next 2 seasons, it's going to be a very big problem because that is a club that really wants to win, a major honor, and they will not, sit back and watch a manager who will not deliver a major title in at least once in every 2 seasons.
All right, Maiwa, Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid, is it going to be a success?
Well, the thing is, second season Leverkusen has not gone so well. Yes, you might say he has only lost 2 games and he drew a lot of games. That's the reason why, Harry Kane has finally broken the course of not winning a title. However, if you look at the players that play for Real Madrid, they are very big characters. My only problem is will you be able to manage the ego the way Zidane successfully managed the ego in the dressing room? Ancelotti is a class of his own. Ancelotti is a winner of the Champions League. So that comes with respect. Yes, Alonso has won the Champions League as a player, but as a coach. And if you want to tame the ego of these players, they look at your CV, they look at your achievements. Yes, it incredibly well for Leverkusen. A lot of players that became the mainstay of Bayer Leverkusen today, they are rejects of other clubs. Xhaka was chased away from Arsenal. A whole lot of them. Taylor was not doing well in England and the rest of that, which I just brought them down and brought the best out of them. Yeah, it shows that he knows what he's doing. However, how does he manage the ego of the players in the dressing room? If he's able to do that, I think we are going to see Real Madrid in another light. Ancelotti is not the best of attacking coach. If you look at how Real Madrid played under Ancelotti, there's no attacking flair. Yes, they hit you on the break and just on that ball. If you compare how Alonso plays and how Ancelotti plays, definitely you want to have Alonso in Real Madrid every day of.
Okay, Maiwa, I definitely was saying a lot about Alonso's time, how it's going to look like as far as coaching Real Madrid next season is concerned. All right, let's talk about the big one. Talking about the man of the moment, Mohamed Salah, the Liverpool forward, has been named the Football Writers Association Men's Player of the Year this season. And Salah won 90% of the votes cast of by over 900 FWA members, talking about Football Writers Association members, thanks to his impressive performance in helping Liverpool win the Premier League. I want to even know who the 10% was, of course, but that's a record for this century to get 90% of the vote. Definitely, he was unavoidably the best player in the league this season.
True. I mean, Mo Salah, his quality cannot be overemphasized. I mean, it's not a surprise. Of course, after the WFA award comes, the Premier League award. And of course, we're hoping to also see the Premier League Player of the Year award as well. So I'm not going to be surprised if Mo Salah actually clinch every single one of his titles. He's really done so well. I mean, his goals and his assists this season. I think, taking out Mo Salah in this particular Liverpool side, I don't know, Liverpool might, not even make it to the top 4. So it tells you how much, his importance is throughout this season for Liverpool. And I think this is just, the icing on the cake for him. He's really done so lot for himself. And this would have also been a very good year for Ballon d'Or for him if Liverpool had actually progressed to the UEFA Champions League, at least the semi-final. But of course, Liverpool actually showed what they are. Topping the league wasn't enough, and they got crashed out in the first knockout phase of the UEFA Champions League. But then, of course, Mo Salah, that's definitely not going to dent his impressive record in England. And of course, I expect him to actually do, the treble in terms of individual honors this season in England. So it's a very good one for Mo Salah, and of course, by extension, a good one for Liverpool.
All right, so taking a look at his goals involvement in the Premier League season, he has broken the record that Thierry Henry set in the 2002-2003 season. 46, I beg your pardon. I'm talking about 28 goals and 18 assists, breaking the record for most goals involvement in a single 38-game Premier League season. This man has started tearing all the records, and since he joined Liverpool, and it looks like 2 more years for him to shatter more records. Myron.
Well, definitely, I think Liverpool made the right decision signing him for more 2 years. Since he has joined Liverpool, he has not scored less than 15 goals every season. And that's like for 8 years now, he has been consistent scoring at least 15 goals every season. It shows the kind of quality he has. And at that particular age, look at what he has been able to do. So I'm not surprised, when 90% of the people voted him. I think it should be 100%, but, they just don't want to 100%. He has done so well for himself. And I will not be surprised if he continues in that same light, next season, provided he's not injured. He has shown that, the older you get, the older he is, the deadlier he is in front of goal. So congratulations to him. He's going to win the PFA Player of the Year, definitely, because of the performance he has put in so far.
All right, so of course, those 10% will be some Man United fans who will still want to say Bruno Fernandes, in spite of finishing 14, he was still the best player. It's all good, but time really fast. We'll have to go. Big time, Ikechukwu and Maiwa have the best of the weekend. Ikechukwu behind the scene. I will wait for the Guard of Honor this weekend when Liverpool play Arsenal. And of course, big thanks to the likes of Manfred, as well as Adura and Non Living Out Paul. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. My name is Jerry Apelio, saying have a great weekend.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP.